What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me while I'm on my way out of the gym. And I know we got music booming in the background. It might strike this video, but that's okay. That does not matter. What matters is me connecting with you guys. So here I am. We're going to jump right into the topic at hand, which is the unfortunate situation at the track meet. We had a young man, Karmelo Anthony, Karmelo with a K. I didn't drop his name before in the video where I was talking about this because I don't really like to name names when they're underage. But since this story has went so viral, the virality of it, you all know who it is at this point. So there's no point in me even sticking to that. You guys know. But I mean, there's a situation. We know what happened there. There was some problems with who was sitting where. I've listened to both sides, and it's hard to tell who was sitting in the wrong spot. I think the boy who did the stabbing, Karmelo, might have been sitting in the wrong spot. But when I listened to the brother, it was like hard to tell. So I don't know. But what we do know is that ultimately it was over somebody sitting in the wrong spot. A conflict ensued over that. And this is so silly, man. Someone is gone behind a disagreement over who gets to sit where. These are the worst type of situations to lose your life over. I mean, it's silly. It reminds me of the Boondocks. Remember the Boondocks? And we laughed about this back then because of how true it was. But a nigga moment is when you take a otherwise rational male and you put him in a scenario where he just throws away all logical thought and acts in the moment. You know, it's kind of one of those, man. It just is really, really stupid. And I'm not saying nigga moment as in it just applying to him. Anybody can have a nigga moment. It don't matter what race you are. It's just that it was dubbed that because we were identifying it in terms of black folks with the Boondocks. But any race you can have. It's called a nigga moment with us. It's called crash out with anybody else. But it's all crashing out. And it's stupid. But the young man's family, they had a GoFundMe. Wait, let's talk about this aspect, though, before I go into that. What about the fact that when the police found him and were saying that he was under arrest for allegedly, stabbing him, and he said, ain't no alleged, I did it. Man, what in the hell? You don't ever say no stuff like that. That is going to make it very difficult for him to beat in court. He also asked about the fact of, was he able to do this in self-defense? Was he able to use self-defense as a cover? So he didn't even know if this would work or not. Oh, man, this is an unfortunate situation, really. But the young man's family, they had a GoFundMe. The GoFundMe got canceled. They ended up going to a different platform, the platform that whatever, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The one that Kyle Rittenhouse had used when he was raising his legal fund for the silly situation that he found himself in. This is somebody else that did something stupid. He had a firearm. He took it to that protest or whatever, and then he ended up putting down two people. Why go there? Why go there with a gun? And I apply that same logic and reasoning here to Karmelo Anthony. Why did you go to the track meet with a knife? With Rittenhouse and with him, I apply the same logic and reasoning. They both went to a situation where they seemingly were looking for trouble. You're a 17-year-old. He wasn't even supposed to have the firearm that he had. So, you know what I mean? Like, you have two young men, two different situations, two different scenarios, but ultimately two young men that seemingly went looking for trouble. Only in this case with Karmelo Anthony, I don't think he's going to be found, not guilty of the charges that he's facing. He's trying to say that it was self-defense. People who have talked about this so far have said it was not self-defense, but the family raised $100K and then immediately raised the goal to 150. It reached 150, and now they've raised it again to 200K. So it is inching up to 200K. I don't know where this is going to go. Personally, this is not something that I would donate money to. I know why people are donating money to it, though. They're making it a race issue, even though I don't think it is a race issue. I think you have two young men that were rival schools, rival factions, whatever, and they just talking smack. I see it happen all the time. But because one was black and one was white, people are going to make it a racial issue. Race doesn't apply to everything. Race does apply to a lot of things. Race doesn't apply to everything, though. I think this young man was going to do what he did or something of the like, regardless of who it was that he had the conflict with. I don't think it was racially motivated. That might be an unpopular opinion, but based on what I'm seeing so far, it was stupid, it was reckless. He is going to pay for this, but I don't think that he specifically did this to him because he was a white male. He already had the knife. So to me, he was already looking for trouble. He wanted smoke with somebody. Unfortunately, in this case, the person he found smoke with, they was white. Well, it would have been unfortunate no matter what. It's stupid, man. This situation, I ain't gonna hold y'all up. This situation really pisses me off because the senselessness of it is just unreal. Two young men's lives ruined because nobody wanted to walk away. Man, listen, I walk away from stuff all the time. I haven't in a while, but I've walked away from stuff. I'm 6'4", I'm muscular, I'm good with my hands. I can definitely throw hands. I've always been good at throwing hands. But I'm at a point in my life where it's not quite as satisfying. Perhaps the reason why he's not there is because he's so damn young. I think when I was young, 17, I was a fighter too. I'm not gonna pretend like I wasn't. I was a fighter too, but I never carried no weapons, man. If these two young men would have just fought it out, because what happened to that? What happened to just, I whoop your ass or you whoop my ass and then it's over with? We see each other after that. It's either on site, we fight again, or we squash it there and we cool afterwards. Like, what happened in those days? A few of my friends today is people that I wasn't cool with at first. We didn't like each other for one reason or another. We had a fight. Whatever issue we had with each other was kind of squashed out with the fight, and we was cool ever since. What happened to that? So the family, the dad, he's talking about something. His son wasn't the aggressor. I don't know. I really don't know how accurate that is. He also said his son was a 3.7 student. The internet loves to do internet things. Somebody went looking up his GPA over the last 3 years or whatever, and they were all 1 point something. So that 3.7 thing doesn't seem like it's accurate. I mean, in my opinion, that's neither here nor there to the situation. But if you throw that out there, the internet is going to investigate. So he said that. You take the fact that his GPA over the last 3 years of high school have been low. You take into account, or maybe it wasn't all high school, but they definitely showed the last 3 years of his transcript, and it was low. You take into account that the pictures of him floating around the internet is him, doing the whole I'm a gangster sort of stuff. It doesn't, in the court of public opinion anyway, it doesn't bode well. When you got bad grades, your digital footprint is I'm a gangster, and now you've taken somebody's life over something that seems just senseless. It don't look good, man. So whatever this whole legal fund is, I don't think there's enough money that they can raise that is going to get this young man out of this. I think this young man is going to get life without the possibility of parole. And I'm not wishing that for him. I'm just saying that that's a highly likely outcome given the circumstances. Life without the possibility of parole. I've seen people get life for way less. So, like I said, the situation it really pisses me off because it's just that level of stupid. This did not have to happen. This should not have happened. Should have been two young men at a track meet, talk some shit, throw up middle fingers, flipping a bird, whatever it is. And if y'all want to like do some fighting, okay, fight. I'm not advocating not to fight. Go ahead, fight it out. I'm all for throwing hands. Y'all throw y'all little hands. You got your crowd around. They all recording it because we know that everybody want to get their phones out and record stuff. They record the fight. It gets put up on TikTok and spreads the internet. You got whooped. He got whooped. In a week, none of us remember it anymore because the next viral video has came and went. I wish that that's how this went. I really do. I wish that that was how this went. I feel sorry for the family of the young man whose life was needlessly taken. He had a twin brother. Man, I can't imagine what it's like. They said that his brother died in his arms. That's just terrible, man. Really, there's just no way to sugarcoat this. Just a god-awful situation. I'm going to leave it there, though, y'all, man. I might do another update about this in the future if some more stuff comes to light. But I'm going to leave it there for now. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Holla at y'all later. Peace.